Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to yet another season of the Inimitable podcast. If you are here, it's because you needed to be here. We, this season, are going to be talking about turning the page, the journey of exiting one season, entering into another one, because the story truly does continue. Semicolon, not a period. So let's find out what's on the other side of this pain, of the trauma, of being locked up, all of these things. Stay tuned. We have a lot of great conversations that are coming up. So I hope that whatever is said, it resonates with you. Sit with this information, watch the replays, go back and watch other episodes because there's some good stuff that's being said. And I'm not just saying that because this is my podcast. I'm saying that because it is true. All right, guys, I will see you in a little bit. Bye. And a little bit after, here we are. So I'm so excited for yet another season of this Inimitable podcast. I don't even know what season we are on, to keep it a buck. It has been a lot of episodes, but nonetheless, I am excited because this man sitting next to me has been right, because anyway, he has been on the pod before. He was a part of the panel discussion. Again, if you haven't seen it, it's still on YouTube. You should go rewatch that. But nonetheless, I have a good friend, colleague even. His name is Tony, and he is here to share his story with us. So, Tony, welcome back, friend.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Glad to be back. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Episode 1. So you're back like with a vengeance on episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate it. How has life been since the episode? Anything
It's
new?
good. No complaints. Just busy. The job definitely keeps you busy, and we always out here trying to better ourselves and better those around us. Looking forward to it. So just making some more things happen on the side, keeping me busy. Got that fatherhood thing too. 3 teenagers, that'll keep you real busy. Right. How I got my hair lost, there you go. That's why I cut that. No, I was joking.
Okay. Well, welcome back. Thank you for agreeing to come back. I think especially me, I appreciate when I have men, especially Black men, on the pod because unfortunately, I think a lot of people assume I know what the Black men go through and their experiences, and it's like, I don't think we do. I think there's a need for the advocacy and whatever the voice is that you're bringing on, it's needed. So I'm grateful to have you here. And we're talking about the mindset. Like this season is about turning the page, leaving one season of your life, entering into another one. And you've been through some things, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you don't have to share everything, but what you're comfortable with sharing, like, take us through the life of Tony. Like, what was Tony before the evolution?
Well, where do I start? I'll say, Tony, probably like most of typical Black men my age, where I grew up from, single parent, 3 kids, mom dukes, living in the ghettos, living in those poor parts of the town. Started out in Louisiana, moved up here eventually. Still, mama did her best, but it's hard for out there. So we bounced around a lot. Yeah, it just wasn't easy. You know what I mean? And like when you're a kid, you don't know no difference, right? So that was my life. So I didn't know that there was something different out there. I didn't know, I didn't know mom was struggling on a regular basis. I didn't know all that. So as you get older, you start realizing it. You start, move to a place like New Hampshire. When I first moved here, I was literally one of like 3 Black kids in my school. We're talking like 1998, right? So around that area. So still kind of stuck out growing up in the neighborhoods and stuff that I did. The regular violence, the gunshots, the fights, the gang life. Um, but mom did a good job keeping us out of that for the most part. Right,
Mhm.
kids,
Mhm.
we're gonna do kid stuff, and we don't know no better, so we out here thinking we do. But so for the most part, though, mom kind of kept us out of that with an iron fist, I might add. Um, but it seeps in, man. You get used to those environments. They become a part of you.
Mhm.
You take them with you.
You do.
So
You
as you
do.
move, you're taking them with you.
Mhm.
Different neighborhood, different city, town. That was still with me. So yeah, I had a little anger problem. Like to fight. Like to do all those things that I try to work with these kids now to stay out of.
Mhm.
Just stayed with me as I got older. So never had that guidance. You know what I mean? I never had that like, hey, this is not a good way to handle those type of stresses and those type of interactions, and so it just continued. And
Mhm.
but I never got in any trouble. You know what I mean? So that was the thing. I never really had any real accountability for some of the things that I was doing.
Mhm.
And fast forward, now I'm getting older. I'm an adult. I'm growing. I'm having kids. Trying to start a family. Still trying to do the right thing. Going to school, learning. You know what I mean? Trying to be something,
Yeah.
but still not dealing with all those voices in the head, all those traumatic things that you don't know as traumatic as you're growing up in them.
Right.
So
Right.
still had the same old anger, impulsiveness.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean something would go off, and I just go off. You know, super impulsive. Made a bunch of mistakes. Um, 27 now. 3 kids. All my kids they're with me now. My youngest son's 4 months. My oldest son 3. And come across an incident. Had an altercation. Uh, Random altercation at a stop sign, and I just reacted, and I ended up, taking someone's life and getting sentenced to prison for that. So originally,
Mhm.
I was charged with second-degree murder
Mhm.
and was pled down to manslaughter, where I did 14 to 30 years. It was my sentence. Yeah. So within that, I did 12 years in good behavior. Got out in 12, and we go more into details, but that led to what you see here, right? That led to me right here. And that path it was not an easy one, you know what I mean? But it was necessary.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you for sharing that because what you said, and you're right. There's a lot of stories very similar to how it starts. Single parent home, moving around a lot, being one of few faces that resemble yours, and then being expected to adjust to whatever, make positive decisions,
Yeah.
uh, handle yourself appropriately, and doesn't always pan out that way,
Yeah.
so you are
No,
sharing the example of what it means to unfortunately fall victim of where the environment you find yourself in.
absolutely.
It's not like you were a kid, like, what I want to be? I want to be broke and the only black face in my school. And like, we don't ask for that,
Yeah.
but learning that, well, there's only two options I have: roll with it or rebel against it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
hard either way.
Yeah. And those are the role models, right? Our role models were the things that we seen every day. Our role models were, it was the violence. It was the, the guys in the neighborhood that were, they were the dealing the drugs, but they're always cool. So, they're cool with you because you're a young kid on the block. So those were your role models. So like I said,
Mhm.
it just normalized a lot of that. And yeah, you don't know what you don't know, right? No one,
Right.
no other role model is not coming around and say, hey, that's not how we do this. That's not how you should do this. And you make those decisions yourself as you get older.
Hmm. Right. Because, yep. Like there's this I don't know if it's a misunderstanding that a lot of people have when it comes to street life, right? They assume, why would you want to join the streets? You know it's dangerous. You know it's not good for you. There's a lot of things going on that could, cost you your life even, but they miss the part where it's like when you don't have family and community, sometimes the streets becomes that family and community.
Even if they don't consider that, it just it's that's just your life.
Yeah.
It's not like you could pick up and just move to the next two towns over. That's a lot better. That's your life, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you war against that. You feel out of place. You are out of place.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
fair.
So most just kind of you go with the flow,
Yeah.
especially you
Well,
don't know better.
yeah. Where was your mindset at that point? Was it like purely survival? Was it I don't know no better, so I can't do no better? Like where was your mindset?
Just took, for lack of a better word, just I didn't know.
Mm,
I was just out there doing it.
mm-hmm.
Mhm. Um, I did want to do something. I wanted to be someone. So, and mom she was on us about the grades. So we're all smart kids,
Mm-hmm.
honor roll. We were in school. We stayed in school. Did some college before I was incarcerated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was always instilled in us. You know what I mean? Like I had uncles that were real G's, but they were in the street life too. But they were smart as hell. So you know what I mean? Like those were my influences. So definitely wanted to get my education, and I did. I stayed in school. I showed up every day. I did that, but outside of that, yeah,
Mm. Okay, so what we're saying two important things. One, role models and having someone to look up to and someone to like walk you through these things. But hey, I know you feel like this is the only way, but no, let's and someone that stays on you and says like, hey, I know what you're surrounded by and I know what the pull is, but this it doesn't have to be this choice. So there's that part, right? But then there's this other part of like even when you have the mentality of go to school and get good grades and do the things, your environment has a strong pull on you. It's like you
absolutely.
said, like you can't just like up and move and say, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna pick up my family and move 3 towns over where I don't have to face this. Sometimes you are stuck, and then it's like, well, here we go, and you got the that you get. It was what you got.
Well, mechanisms that don't adapt to their environment, they cease to exist.
Ooh, that was I like that. That was good.
That's real. It's easy to fall right in. Yeah,
So we served 13 years,
we're there 12.
12 years. We
12 years.
served 12 years. Now that the mindset to survive, I don't even want to know. Like personally, I don't even never experience it. I'm not cut out for that stuff, which is why I try to stay on the up and up. But how do you survive that? Mentally, physically, emotionally. How does one spend 12 years behind bars? And we see the movies, we see the shows, we don't know how accurate it is,
Mm-mm.
but if it's based off of anything I saw, I don't know how you did it. How'd you do it?
Well, grounded is a huge thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I found something that helped kept me grounded. Multiple things, no
Mm-hmm.
matter how small or how big they were, right? So that was a huge one. And the thing for me was like, I put some bad out in the world. I put some hurt in the world, and that weighs heavy on me still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not what I want my legacy to be. I didn't want that legacy to be, because once this happened, immediately it's just like, oh no, you have that, like, the remorse was real, um,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want that. You know what I mean? And I had my sentencing hearing, and it was understandable. Families are upset. Two families are destroyed. So you're hearing back and forth, back and forth. You're hearing the worst about
Mm-hmm.
you, yourself, what you've done. You're seeing people's faces, how upset they are. You're seeing you're seeing the real of what it come of all that background, right? When it comes to something like this. And I just remember the very powerful lady. She stood up and she said, um, "I forgive you,"
Wow.
from the victim's family, and it really struck me, right?
Mhm.
Because into that moment, I didn't realize I didn't deserve any of what she had to say. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I didn't earn that, because there's remorse, but there's still some defensiveness, because um, we're gonna try to justify actions, whether they're right or wrong,
Right.
especially when your life's on the line.
Right.
Okay, that don't make it right, but that's some real stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, but up until that moment, I just was like, wow, and I just felt like the worst person on the planet at that moment. I was just like, Jesus, a strong woman can stand up there and say that um, after losing a family member, and I didn't deserve that.
Mm.
And I was like, you know what? Nah, I don't. This can't be me. All right.
Yeah.
Thinking about my kids, I'm like, Jesus, I got 3 kids. How do I want them to look at me? How's this going to affect them when they get older and go to school? What's their life's going to be like if I'm gone for 25 or what? You know what I mean? So just all those things that you're battling on a daily basis, and you're like, all right, whatever the cards are dealt, man, let's just make the best of it and try to do something good with whatever God got left for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the mindset was foundations, faith, family, and just trying to get this right and this right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Taking some deep looks inside and just like, all right, my goal, be a life learner. My goal
Mhm.
is to continue to grow. Right? I adapted that goal, sitting in the holding cell, waiting to come to the prison. Like, all right, let's do this. All right, I got to do something different.
Mhm.
After that, and I just never looked back. So whatever it looked like for me, if it was going to learn something, if it was going to help me grow, it was going to help me, put some good in the world. That's all I focused on. Right? There's so much other stuff you can focus on while you're incarcerated. There's so much other shit that can like deter you,
Yep.
and that's it. It's a mental battle, right? The physical bumps and bruises and stuff they heal, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So man, it's a heavy load, and it's every day. It's all
Right.
day. And
Right.
yeah, add in, you know, a couple young kids that look up to you. They want to see you all the time. They wonder why you're not home. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, man, the mental it's everything.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to talk about that mindset because it's one thing to stay positive, right? Like positivity works, sure. Having a determined goal, determined mindset works, yeah. But when you're in a place where they're literally trying to like dehumanize you and make you feel like you're less than because of whatever it is that you have done, and yet what they're saying isn't your truth. Like now you're trying to, like you said, turn your life around, and you have kids and you want to make sure that they have someone to look up to, and you yourself don't want to create a legacy of, well, I guess we're just going to do whatever we can, we're just going to survive, and so like how do you maintain that when everything, like literally everything around you is forcing you to think otherwise, but something in you has to remain where it's like, no, I know what y'all are doing. And this is
Mhm.
like a short stint. Like you weren't in there for one or two, like 12
Mhm.
consecutive
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Well, I will say the positivity thing or positivity is a great thing, you know what I mean? But ignorance and positivity sometimes, they kind of teeter.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's radical acceptance is what it is.
Mm,
So for me, radical acceptance was like, what do I have control over?
yeah.
Right? I don't got control over my environment. I don't got control over the people I need to have to be around. I don't have control over what I'm eating every day.
Mm,
what do I have control over? And that only thing was my choice on how I respond to things.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I had control over. So if that was the only power that I had in there, that was the only power I was going to exercise on a daily basis, sometimes 50 times a day.
Yeah.
uh, but that's what I did. I just buckled. I dug my heels in the sand, man. I wasn't going to be moved. Right? I was leaning on faith,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't going to be moved. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. This is my choice. So when something happened, all right, this is my choice on how I respond to this. Right.
Yeah.
So that way, I I still keep the integrity of who Tony is, not inmate. You know what I mean? Not
Mm-hmm.
convict,
Mm-hmm.
not label. Like I wasn't about to live off by a label.
So good. That's so good, Tony. Yes, radical acceptance. I like that. Me and now, not just because I'm a therapist, but it's true. Sometimes you really have to say, like, I can't control everything, but what I can control, I'm going to control that and do my best with that. Because, we have a lot of people, especially in our brown community, that have this like learned helplessness of like, this is all it's ever going to be. My grandmama wasn't nothing, my mom was nothing, so therefore I'm gonna be nothing, or vice versa for a man. And that's the mentality that we carry. Like this
Mhm.
must be it, right? And so for you to find a way to be in one of the worst places that anyone can even imagine and still maintain that, but I'm Tony though. Like sure, there's numbers right here on this jacket that I have to remember. I'm
Mhm.
73211, whatever it is, right? It's like, no, no, no. But my identity is Tony. And Tony is who I'm building up, not these
Yeah,
numbers,
not the numbers.
whatever they think, like Tony. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of what I do now is work on the art of becoming. Like, who am I becoming? Who do I want to become? Right. And I feel like, was that the thing that you kind of, along with the faith and the radical acceptance, was that what you were holding on to of like, I got to become Tony. Like Tony is going to be somebody, and Tony, as dad, as man, as community member, as
Absolutely.
so on and so forth. Like he's going to be someone. So was that pride in the identity that you were building? Is that also something that
Yeah,
got?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just complete humility. You know what I mean? And in the sense that it's okay that that's how people are going to look at me, but it's not okay if I accept that because that's what it is. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like
that's deep.
I wasn't going to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I just, man, I'm telling you, I just held on to those things and just kept finding ways to build the foundation. Let's get some goals in there, right? Throw some goals on top of this. What do I want to do? How can I do this? What can I learn? Right?
Mm,
Completely
mhm.
flip the mindset to thinking in a way that was growth.
Right.
I wasn't going to be limited by the environment, not with my brain, not with my mind.
Good. That's good because it'll happen. Sometimes we try so hard to make it, and then when we keep hitting failure and disappointment, sometimes we throw our hands up and it's like, well, I tried. I
Mhm.
I gave it an earnest effort and I failed. So like in the face of adversity, failure, trials, like sometimes literal trials for you, how did you maintain the mentality of I'm gonna be somebody and I'm gonna see this thing through, despite how many failures and setbacks you had?
So I changed the wording, right? So if you change a word or something
Hmm.
and you keep repeating it and repeating it, it becomes different, right? So failure wasn't failure, it was setback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a stumble, a block.
Mm,
I got a little hurdle here. All right, I got to get over this hurdle.
right.
Stair. I fell down the stairs for a second. Let me get up and keep climbing these stairs. You know what I mean? So I changed the wording on a lot of things, which made it a lot more acceptance and was also good for like good for me and my soul to not be like, oh, you failed. You failed. I got
Mm,
enough people telling me I failed. I know I failed. I've heard I failed in some. Yeah, I got enough people telling me. I just changed that word, You know what I mean? A lot of words I'll change and flip and just, so subconsciously they hit my mind different. So it's like, the failure is not that bad. Okay, that's a setback. We
Mm,
People that are successful and stuff, they fail 1,000 times. Right? You fail 1,000 times, but they don't look at it as a failure. They was like, all right, now I know how not to do it.
right.
Let's
Right.
try a different way. Okay, that don't work. Let's try a different. Let's crawl under it this time. Okay, that don't. You just keep going till you figure it out. You know what I mean?
That's good. That's good. Tony, sir, you are speaking some good stuff because it's the it really is the mindset that really controls how you show up and how you go through life, and it is hard for anybody regardless if you've been imprisoned or not. Like,
Anything.
the imprisonment of your body is one thing. The imprisonment of your mind is on a whole different level.
Absolutely.
And a lot of us are freed body wise, but imprisoned mentally. You,
Yeah.
sir, were both. And so, like, first of all, shout out to you for the integrity that you had to free yourself in both senses. But it's like, what would you say to those people who are bodily free, but mentally imprisoned? What are your words to them?
Yeah. So unfortunately, I see a lot of that out here.
Hmm.
It's kind of breaks my heart a little bit. Um, I would say a few different things. One would be just like I said, what's the goal, right? What is your goal? What is your purpose? How do we help you find your purpose, right? Because if you feel like you know what that purpose is or you're pursuing that purpose, then you're never locked up. Your brain's never locked up. Right? You're never gonna be in that mind state of being in car like your brain's in prison. You know what I mean? You're not gonna feel that. You're just gonna keep going. And that's the other thing. Listen, one foot in front of the other. Some of the guys inside, we talk to each other like, all right. Sometimes it's 1 minute at a time. Sometimes it's 1 second at a time. I
Hmm.
would also say focus on where you're at now. There's a lot of times, and I was saying with me, it was like I would want to, hey, this is where I want to get. This is where I want to be. I'm not there. I get a little frustrated. I'm like, damn, I wish I could make this happen. But then sometimes I got to take a seat, be right here in the moment, practice a little mindfulness, and think about where I came from.
Right.
Right. So it's very easy to remember that you're not where you want to be.
Hmm.
Get where you came from. So once
Hmm.
I do that, that would build me up a little bit. I'm like, okay, I made strides. I'm on the right path. I've done what I've done, and I'm gonna continue to do what I do. And that's what I would encourage people to do as well. Right? What is it? It's got to be something. You're here for a reason. Right? Even if
Right.
it's whatever. I would say find yourself some people that you could trust and lean on.
Hmm.
Right? Put yourself in the position where you're surrounded by people that are speaking the same language as you or doing that thing that you want to do.
Hmm.
So that's another one, right? Because you do need the community. You need the people beside you. You need people behind you. You want them to walk with you. They shouldn't be dragging you. They shouldn't be pulling at you. You want to walk
Hmm.
with them, but you want to get yourself around, surrounded by those folks as well. And just the mental health part of it, man, right? Don't be afraid to ask some questions. Don't be afraid to go check out what's going on up here, right?
Hmm.
That was huge for me as well. Growing up, there wasn't no therapy, right? I said this before. It was like church. It was like, oh, I remember we're all in there cutting up. And I was like, them kids need to cast the demons out of them. You know what I mean? It was like, it wasn't no therapy. It was just church.
Right.
Church.
Hmm.
Started
Hmm.
thinking, finally therapy, like, hey, why do I get so angry? Why was this making me so angry? Why was I so impulsive? I started asking the questions of why instead of that happens, or it is what it is, or that's just me, having that fixed mindset. Um, Started doing that, realized, wow, okay, I could trace back to like, oh, I understand now.
Yeah.
Not only do I understand now, I have a better understanding of me. I have a better
Hmm.
understanding of how I can proceed and avoid these things, these landmines in the future. And that's power right there.
Hmm.
It's power. So yeah, mental health is a big part of it. You know, if you're out here and you're stuck, you don't know why you're stuck, dude, just get in front of the right people and just talk. Don't be afraid to just speak. Tell them where you're at.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that because, I can say it all day. They're like, you're saying that because you're a therapist. I'm like, well, yeah, but I've also been a client myself of therapies. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm black and I understand like you were saying, we literally dance around therapy, but never quite get there. It's like, I
Yeah.
go to church, let the pastor pray for me and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
listen here, we love Jesus. Anybody who has been on this pod, we know we love Jesus. And it's like, what you were saying is so true. Like, oh, that's a demon. It's like, um, maybe. Or also,
Yeah.
and also, like these are things that have been passed down from my family. Like, who wouldn't have anger issues if you were moved around a million thousand times and people are talking about you and coming at you just because you're male or just because you're female, just because of the color of your skin?
Mhm.
Like there's so many hits that we are taking as people, as human beings, and
Yeah.
it's like, so you just expect me to just respond like, oh, it's all right, it's
I
all
say, I say it all the time. You can't have action on something you never taught, right? You don't know what you don't know. You can't. You
right.
can't. It's impossible, right?
Mhm.
No
Mhm.
one ever told me, "Hey, this is what conflict resolution looks like."
Mm.
Conflict resolution was like, "Hey, I'll fight you. Let's fight." It's like we fight. That
Right.
was my conflict resolution, and
Right.
hell, it was reinforced in the household sometimes.
Mm.
Like growing up black neighborhood and the ghetto, when your mom's like,
Mhm.
"Don't be no punk, go fight him," so that's
Right.
me.
Right.
So
Right.
like, it wasn't like, "Hey, no, this is how you're a healthy way of dealing with your anger." Oh no, this is
Mhm.
a healthy way of responding to that. No, you're like, all right. So how was I to know what conflict resolution? If you would have said that to me back then, I'd be like, "That's definitely a foreign language. I have no idea what you're talking about."
For real, and that's literally what it is. It's a foreign language. It's like someone speaking German, and you're like, I don't know what that word is. I don't even know what you're trying to articulate to me. And this is why it is important for community because, I had someone say to me once, I didn't know how important mental health was until I stepped into like a white space and they started talking about, oh yeah, I was healing and I went this and that. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? Like mental health was a white thing to
Yeah.
her. And I said, Miss Ma'am, like I'm listening to her, but it's true. It's like, ain't no conflict resolution. What is that? Radical acceptance? I don't know what
Mhm.
that is. Intergenerational trauma. I
Yeah.
can't even spell it. What are we saying
Exactly as this. Yeah.
right now?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. But anywho, so we get there, we come out. It sounds like we have officially turned the page, which is the theme for this season. You turn the page, and then what is it like to kind of like reintegrate back into society? Because things have changed in 12
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Phones and language like this.
Oh my goodness. Technology is things um I'm getting there, but I'm behind the curve on some stuff. I'm saying you give me you phone and technology, man. I'm still like, oh Jesus, I need my kids. I'm glad my daughter's good at this because she be hooking a brother up. I'm like, hey, baby girl, like, what is this?
Help
But
me.
yeah, from the start, man. So let's just kind of break it down for you. So
Mhm.
I hadn't seen cars up close besides like a court date.
Mhm.
Like you go years without seeing passing cars.
Right.
So I'm out, getting out, going like the halfway house, which is kind of like the transition before you get back in. And my journey, things transitioned very quickly.
Mm.
So I mean, it was a matter of months People who've done as much time as I did, they pass them through years. So
Hmm.
they know they could accommodate, they can customize themselves to like society. I just remember walking next to the street and just seeing how fast the cars were coming by. This was like my first day, like out on the show. I was just like, whoa, I couldn't judge, I couldn't gauge if I had enough time to cross the street
Mm.
safely. Okay. So the reason I'm saying that is just fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On top of like just like you don't know what's next. You don't know if you could be in trouble tomorrow. You don't know if what I'm supposed to do. I don't know. Like I don't know if I'm supposed to. Can I do this? What's that? Like you literally, it's almost like completely starting over.
Mm.
And if you don't have like a support group for that, like good friends who've gone through that, you are like you feel alone. Like you are
Hmm.
alone,
Yeah.
right? Because people, family, everyone's happy to have you home. Everyone's happy to have you there, right? But there's no real like understanding of like what's going on, right? I had a
Hmm.
couple family gatherings. Everyone's so excited and so much stimulation
Hmm.
that I was not used to. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I never had anxiety. Never had anxiety. Got out, started realizing like Jesus, like I feel like weird all the time. I feel like edgy and shaky. Like my anxiety kicked right up.
Wow.
Going to the grocery store was like a nightmare
Mm.
because for years you had a set of options, two or three options max.
Right.
You're like, oh, you're working. I'm gonna pack from. Oh, let's go to the grocery store. All these foods that you were so happy to get back to. Walking down the cereal aisle, I was just like, oh my god,
Mm.
the amount of choices was like it was completely overwhelming for me. Like
Yeah.
just completely. I was just like, what? Like, look at this, look at that, look at that. Just and you wouldn't think that would be a problem. And there's a saying for clothes shopping, it's a problem, right?
Right.
You're not used to it. It's like, and it's not like, I could smile and laugh about it now because I'm accustomed, but it was like really hard. It
Mm.
was very hard. And
Right.
trying to explain that to someone, and they're like, they give you this look like, the heck
Hmm.
are you talking about? You know
Right.
what I mean? So then you're like, oh, I don't even know if I can say this without people looking at me like I'm like an idiot. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like I don't, what's the matter? I don't want to say anything because I'm like, it's just so normal to everyone that they're like, dude, no, you just do it like this. And sometimes they say it like that, like, like you're kind of like you're an idiot.
Hmm.
On
Hmm.
top of that, just it, I thought everyone knew me. Like, oh, he just got out of prison. You what? Like he just got out of prison. I just felt like I had that aura on me when I walked somewhere. But you know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
you know, those things kind of create a different type of anxiety. You're talking about all the other stuff that you kind of thrusted right into.
Hmm.
For me, it was like, okay, got a job. I got a car the day I got out. I haven't driven 12
Right.
years.
Right. Yes.
Well, like things like that.
Yeah.
Um, and just, yeah, man, I mean, you don't know how it's going to affect the people you're coming home to, right? If
Hmm.
you're lucky and blessed enough to be able to come home and you got family sticking around or whatever you're doing, which is great. But also, it's tough. You don't know your position. You don't
Mm.
know your role. You don't know who you are in this environment. Not a,
Hmm.
I had established myself in the prison, and I was an advocate. I was on the RCC. I was doing all types of like trainings. I'd been in all types of trainings. We were teaching new inmates the ropes and everything. Like I was like, oh, it came natural. And here I'm like, should I say something? I don't know if it's just and this is my babies, this is my kids. I'm trying to like, hey, should I say? I don't, what I mean?
Wow.
Things like that. Yeah, it just creates it kind of puts you in the bubble,
Mm.
You know what I mean? That's kind of
Mhm.
what I felt like. It was in the bubble. And yeah, just the more I've continued to try to grow, the more setbacks you're going to get. And most of those setbacks are because of the nature of what your background is.
Sure. Sure.
Right?
Mm.
And all these trainings, I'm talking years of trainings. You need your house replumbed, I can replumb your house with no problem. And I have all these skills and this knowledge and stuff that are benefiting, that can benefit a company, but that background, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And
Mm.
it's real. I've gone,
It is.
I've gone to interviews, man, where the interview is going fantastic. All right, very qualified for the job, very qualified for the career, I should say. And there's a question. Oh, so you checked off yes, and it's like, all right, this is a part of me, so we're not hiding this, and this is how I became the man I am today. Am I proud of how all this happened? Of my action? No.
Right.
And I give myself some credit and some props from where I am now? Absolutely. And I'm
Mhm.
not afraid to do that. And I will continue to do that. But I've been in rooms with people when I tell them my story and they look at me like, am I safe around you?
Mm.
You know what I mean? I feel the energy just completely change.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, uh, and it was super discouraging for a long time, right? Because we're talking 14 years, 15 years, so many years ago, right?
Mhm.
Very different person. And that there's always something that wants to pull you back to that.
Right. Okay. So what you're saying is freedom isn't always free because
Mhm.
it's like now your mind is released from imprisonment, but now you're where you are, your body's freed from it, and then it's like I'm just went from one cell to a different cell because
Well,
I'm still limited in what I can do because of what's behind my name. I'm still limited because oh, he's a felon. He did this and he did that, and he must still be this and all of these things. And so now you're up against a whole new different type of system.
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Like,
No, it's that's exactly what it is. It's a system, right? It used to be very discouraging, right? Because it's like, oh, and I just would feel like I don't want to say defeated, but just like, all right, I gotta Kaepernick this. I gotta take a knee. I need a knee. You know what I mean? And it, over time, I'm just like, okay, I've learned more skills to be able to like handle those type of rejections and those type of things, and just not only that, have some understanding. Like I get it, I understand. But
mm,
yeah, it is hard for having someone to be immediately you're thrusted back into that guy, and we're gonna completely ignore the
mm,
14, 15 years, and you see all my credentials and you see my certifications and you see my licenses and you see all these things and these things that I've put a lot of work in and I've worked really hard to get, and that all that just goes poof.
right.
Yeah, it can be very discouraging. Absolutely.
That's heavy. And I think this is why people always have these notions and narratives about why people end up going back into prison and going back into the thing that got them in there. And it's like there's a system, people, that is
Yeah.
literally invisible to a lot of people. And it's like, what other choice are you giving them? You're literally pigeonholing them. And it's like, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this because you're convicted, even though apparently that means nothing now in America. But anyway,
That's, that's another podcast.
don't want to get canceled.
Yeah,
You
okay,
know,
that's right. I'm learning that too.
it's like you have these all of these stipulations behind what you can and cannot do, and then it's like some people, unfortunately, they do succumb to that helpless, well, hey, yes, I'm free, but like, am I really though? And so you're speaking to that system that really does become a whole nother mountain to climb just
Oh
to
yeah.
reintegrate back into society and just to be received, accepted. Like you were saying, find your footing. Like, what can I say? What can't I say? Like, I've been absent, so I know my word probably isn't much, but I still have credentials and I have work. Like, I've put in work to build up this Tony, and you still are focused on that one word, that one thing, ignoring all the letters and the things, but that
Hmm.
one word
That
that
one.
changed your whole mind about me, and that's heavy.
Yeah, so that's exactly what you said. It's another system. It's like when you said, people are out here and they're in prison in their mind. That's that.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I understand the other side. If you run a company, a business, an organization, you need to have parameters in place to keep that safe and to keep your business safe, right? That's your business. Um, but also, yeah, I think a lot of mindset reverts right back to what how it is in prison. Because
Mm-hmm.
once you're there, you got plenty of people to remind you, oh, you'll never be more than this.
Right,
You're gonna be,
right.
and for us, and I speak for a couple of guys that what we do, like it is. It's not super common that yeah, you get guys come out and they have degrees or they come out and they do this. Like yeah, that I agree. Um, but you also have people that are like, oh, I've seen what's the shows Locked Up, yeah, I've seen
Mm-hmm.
Locked Up, and like the tunnel vision of how people sometimes look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it can be frustrating. It can because then like with me, what I wanted to do was just what I would call verbal vomit. You know what I mean? Just like
Mm-hmm.
I got this, and this. It makes you want to explain yourself. It makes you want to
Yeah,
like, and you want people to see like, oh, hey, no, 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 look, hey, look over here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean that it's almost pointless as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
just got to a place where I'm like, okay, look, acceptance. I had to go back to what it was on the inside, radical acceptance. You know what I mean? Radical
Mm-hmm.
acceptance. I'm very, very focused in the goals that I have and what I want to do, and I'm gonna keep doing them, whether it's over here or whether it's that. Like, unfortunately, if I have to treat this like it was in the prison to continue to move forward, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what needs to be done.
Right, right.
And
And it's hard because like I obviously, like I said, I'm not cut out for, because that's not in my ministry to do any of that. But I my brother was in and out since he was 12, quite frankly. And when he was murdered, instead of just like saying like, oh, another person, black man murdered and da 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 da, that's what they said the first day. The next day, when they found out who my brother was, instead of just acknowledging the fact that he is a victim of violence, they literally put down his rap sheet of like, oh, well, this is another black man off the streets. I said, hold on. My
yeah,
aunt, my aunt was ready to drive from where she was down to good old where my city was and say, like, y'all see this crap? He is a victim. Okay. It doesn't matter what he did. It doesn't matter who he was. He
yeah,
is a victim.
yeah,
And people just really like hyper focus on like this. Well, I'm sure, but he wasn't the outstanding man of the year. And it's like, that doesn't matter. Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
yeah. It's just the value of human life. You know what I mean? I had a good friend, God rest his soul. We're cellmates for a little while
Mhm,
in the county when I was pre-trial, and I was
mhm,
there for a good stint, more than you want to be in the Valley Street jail for sure. and he got out and he passed, not even from violence, he passed away. And I remember someone bringing me the newspaper article. I was like, oh, look, so and so is in the paper. He
Mm.
passed away. I'm just like, oh, obviously it hit home. But then when I started reading that's what it was all about. Oh, it had a history of being incarcerated, not the father, not the man. You know what I mean? None of that. It was just almost this entire rap of like
Right.
him being in trouble, and like he didn't, he wasn't killed from violence. He was, it was just, it blew my mind, and just like, and especially because like when it's that close and someone,
Mhm.
the struggles, what they've been through, you've seen them with their family, you've seen them with their kids, you've seen that
Right.
person, and
Right.
then just to read, it was just like, I can't, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, that's that mindset around that, and I'm big on education. Like we want to open their minds up and educate. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of balls being dropped. Like there needs to be a decent reentry.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
we need real reentry people. Like that's some
Hmm.
real things, right? Because I promise you, 95 to 96% of the guys in prison will potentially get out at some point, right?
Hmm.
You want them to be the most educated. You
Right.
want them to be the most certified,
Mm.
right? And you want them to have proper guidance on how to navigate through society. I was
Right.
blessed. I thank God for that.
Hmm.
That are
Hmm.
getting out, that are going out to absolutely nothing.
Right.
And I say nothing, not just physical. I mean no direction at all, except don't do this, don't do that, get a job.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Open a bank account. How the hell did it? Set up all this financial stuff that you need to set up, like file an application online. Before I went in, you could do paper. I'm a paper guy. Everything is online now. Everything's online. I'm just like, oh my god. I was like, yes, you go online and do that. I'm like, I don't know how. But
Mm.
it's real though, you know what I mean? And like that's why I love like some of the stuff that we do and the work that we do, because we're able to provide some guidance for young men getting out, for these guys that are getting out, and we have guys that are getting out that have done twice as long as I have.
Mhm.
From kids to 50 years old,
Yeah.
to 40, 50 years old, and same story. So being able to support, I switch that up. Let's start supporting instead of alienate,
That's
because he can be your neighbor.
right. Right.
Your neighbor, and
Mhm.
you want a good neighbor, right? You want the neighbor that got some guidance and he's excited to be home and trying to build something. You know, the neighbor that's like, oh, I got turned down from my 18th job in the last 6 months and I don't know what to do. My house is, but yeah, I got no place to live. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a process, and it needs to be it needs to be worked by more than just more than just a certain few people that are, and like it needs acceptance from society. It does.
Hmm. Hmm. And I appreciate that segue because we are first of all coming towards the end of the time here, but you literally had walked us through the many mindset shifts that have to happen because there's always something. There's the system, there's the environmental piece, there's the genetic piece, there's the freedom versus imprisonment piece of mind and body. There's so many things happening. And then, unfortunately, America is one of those countries that just dehumanizes people that are in prison while other countries are using it to reform them. It's like, okay, yeah, you did something. Let's teach you something. Let's teach you some skills. Throw you right back out, and then you'll be okay because you know we helped you build yourself in
Yeah,
there. Right? It's
I
not just
mean, look at the numbers, right? Why is the incarceration in America so high compared to other places? Why is
um,
there Why is the recidivism rate so high in other countries? You know what I mean? There's a reason, and there's research, and there's numbers to back it up.
A lot of numbers, and
Mhm.
it's sad. I'm like, America, what are we doing? But then again, child. Anyway, so now fast forward, Tony now is a mentor. He is helping the younger generation kind of try to deter them, like, this ain't what you want, sons or madams. This isn't what you want. This is my story. I've been able to sit in some of those group sessions and see Tony at work along with his colleagues, and I said, yeah, couldn't be me. I thank God it wasn't. But
Mhm.
I'm glad that there are programs like the one that you are a part of, where you're teaching the younger generation, taking them under your wing, and really trying to help them break their mindsets, because they're not even fully imprisoned,
Yeah,
most of them, or have never been, but their mindset is already
absolutely.
working towards that way. And you guys are quite literally intervening at a very critical age, first of all, because they're young teenagers, but then also at a critical time of their life where they're still a little bit moldable. I don't know. This generation's different. They're very
They're moldable. And just so,
different.
there's a lot more distractions. Thank you, social media, but they are moldable. We see it every
Uh-huh.
day for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And now we're physical trainers. So we got a lot of great things going on.
Absolutely.
So how do we maintain, like, if this was our uh final moment, right, of empowerment or encouragement, whatever you want to call it, of going through all the things you went through, how is it that you are able to still show up with this mindset to help the younger people and raise your three lovely teenagers? If I say kids, don't tell them I said kids. Teenagers. Thinking quickly about that. And you're able to do all of this amazing stuff. Like, I'm sure the Tony you are becoming, you are him, and there's pride attached to that. There's excitement attached to that. So, first of all, again, kudos to you. But how do you encourage other people who, you know, don't always see the end of the tunnel, and
Mhm.
who are just like, they might be close, but they're like, I can't. This is hard. Life is hard, and there's so many setbacks and stuff. What do you say? What are your
Um,
last
I would
words?
encourage them, right? Because
Mhm.
there's a multitude of numbers of people who were in that same position
Mhm.
that we were in at some point, or continue to be, and they go, "Put my hands up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the rest. I'm
Hmm.
gonna go with the flow because this is
Hmm.
easier."
Hmm.
Right? I challenge them. Challenge yourself.
Hmm.
What do you want to do? What do you want to be? Because no one's gonna help you. No one's gonna give it to you. Yeah, I'm Tony, the business owner, the mentor, the homeowner. In the 3 years that I've been out, none of that was landed in my damn lap. I can promise you that.
Hmm.
Right? Go
Yeah.
get it.
Wow.
And when you fall, get up. If it don't work, try it a different way. Especially if that's the heart, that's where your mind's going. Ain't
Hmm.
nobody can stop you but you. At the end of the day,
Right.
I would challenge you. Sometimes you just need to have a hard conversation with somebody and be like, look, who are you? Who are you when challenges hit you? Who are you when it gets hard? You're the
Hmm.
person that folds over. You're the paper bag. If so, okay. Sometimes it is like that. Let's build on that.
Right.
It's never a moment of just staying stuck. Is it right? I'm huge on growth mindsets and fixed mindsets. And I could talk to someone for 2 minutes and tell the difference right away. Right
Mm. That's good.
away. Right? So if your mindset, if you're passionate about this, if this is something you want to do, if this is something you love, is this something you want to be, then your mindset is always going to be pressing towards that or the
Mm.
next. So just it's a challenge. Stop making excuses. There's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be challenges. But the
Mhm.
people that do something, they do. They keep going. They will not be denied.
Mm, so good. So good, Tony. Tony, sir, I thank you for all of the gems, diamonds, mic drop moments you have had because this is good. And again, it is so necessary, especially from a black man's perspective, that you hear this is my story, and whew, sir, was there some stories in there, but you also spoke to the power of a positive mindset, a growth mindset, a fixed mindset. If you want to know what that is, Dr. Tony. Obviously not on social medias because he doesn't do that.
Nope.
But
No social media. Nope. I ain't. Nope. Nope.
but Tony, again, thank you so much for sharing. Everyone who is watching this, I hope that you gained something from it. Come back. There will be more episodes to come. I don't know who's going to be on the next one. That's still in the working, but nonetheless, you guys enjoy it. Y'all stay blessed. Keep up that mindset because
Yes,
this is
ma'am.
what the conversation was about. Tony, sir, appreciate you forever and a day. And I will see you guys later.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
You're great, Tony. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope something that was said truly resonates with you. And if it does, please feel free to share it. Maybe there's some other episodes that you haven't seen, and I have a ton of them. And so you can go back and watch them. I make this video at the end of every episode because there's some announcements that are coming up, announcements that are mine and maybe other people's, because I'm all about healing and wellness for the community. All right, because I am an intergenerational healing clinician and advocate. So stay tuned. If you need me, you know where to find me, guys. All right, bye.